Lady Tri Yu was a female warrior in 3rd century Vietnam who managed, for a time, to resist the Chinese state of Eastern Wu during its occupation of Vietnam. She is also called Tri Yu Th Trin, although her actual given name is unknown. She is quoted as saying, "I'd like to ride storms, kill sharks in the open sea, drive out the aggressors, reconquer the country, undo the ties of serfdom, and never bend my back to be the concubine of whatever man." In Vietnam, Lady Tri Yu is most commonly called Bi Tri Yu, but also Tri Yu Yu, Tri Yu Trin N degree NG, and Tri Yu Th Trin. There are 2 late Vietnamese compilations that mention her by name. One is the official L Dynasty History, IVTSK to NTH degree, and other is the official Nguyen N Dynasty History, KHMNHVTSTHNG Gim C degree NGMC. Both sources give her name as Tri Yu Yu. This translates to Bi Tri Yu in modern Vietnamese, and to Lady Tri Yu in English. The given name Th Trin first appears only in VT Nam SL degree C by TRNTRNG Kim. Many cities in Vietnam have a street named Bi Tri Yu in her honor. IVTSK to NTH degree, written during the L dynasty, said the following about Lady Tri Yu. The Muthn year, 248, 11th year of X chapter. The people of Cuchn again attacked citadels, the prefecture was in rebellion. The Wu king appointed the HNHD degree NG imperial secretist L. C. Dn Lu Yin to inspector of Jiaozhou. Dn arrived, used the people's respect for him to call them to lay down arms, people surrendered, numbering more than 30,000 households, and the prefecture was once again peaceful. Afterwards, a woman from the Cuchn commandery named Tri Yu Yu assembled people and attacked several commanderies. Dn was able to subdue her. Vietnam SL degree C, a history book that was written in the early 20th century by Vietnamese historian TRNTRNG Kim, said the following about Lady Tri Yu. In this year on Cuchn prefecture, there was a woman named Tri Yu Th Chin who organized a revolt against the Ng Wu. Our Vietnamese history recorded that Lady Tri Yu was a people of NNGC district. Her parents were dead all when she was a child. She lived with her older brother Tri Yu Quoc Dat. At the age of 20, while she was living with her sister-in-law who was a cruel woman, she Tri Yu Dhi Trin killed her sister-in-law and went to the mountain. She was a strong, brave, and smart person. On the mountain, she gathered a band of 1,000 followers. Her brother tried to persuade her from rebelling. She told him, "I only want to ride the wind and walk the waves, slay the big whales of the Eastern Sea, clean up frontiers, and save the people from drowning. Why should I imitate others, bow my head, stoop over and be a slave? Why resign myself to menial housework?" The Muthn year, 248, because of the cruelty of Ng Wu mandarins and misery of people, Tri Yu Quoc Dang revolted in Cuchn prefecture. Lady Tri Yu led her troops joined her brother's rebellion. Soldiers of Tri Yu Quoc Dat made her leader because of her braveness. When she went to battles, she usually wore yellow tunics and rode a war elephant. She proclaimed herself Nhyk degree Ngkan. Jiaochu Inspector L. C. Dn sent troops to fight her. She Tri Yu Dhi Trin had managed to fight back the Ng Wu forces for 5 or 6 months. Because of the lack of troops and fighting alone, she Tri Yu Dhi Trin could not manage to fight a long war and was defeated. She fled to Bin Commune and then committed suicide. Later, the Nam of early L dynasty praised her as a brave and loyal person and ordered his followers build her a temple, and gave her the title of Btchnh on Hng Ti Trin Nht Fu Nhn. Present day in Phin Commune, in the Thanh Ha province there is a temple for her. The earliest mention of Tri Yu Dhi Trin can be found in the Jiaozhou Ji written in the Jin dynasty, and collected in the Taiping Yulan. In the book Vietnamese Tradition on Trial, 1920–1945 written by David G. Marr, an American professor, told the story of Tri Yu Dhi Trin as follow. Tri Yu Dhi Trin was a 9-foot-tall woman who had 3-foot-long breasts. She also had a voice which sounded like a temple bell, and she could eat many rice pecks and walk 500 leagues per day. Moreover, Trin had a beauty that could shake any man's soul. Because of repeated altercations, she killed her sister and went to a forest in which she gathered a small army and attacked the Chinese. When her brother tried to persuade her from rebelling, she told him, "I only want to ride the wind and walk the waves, slay the big whales of the eastern sea, clean up frontiers, and save the people from drowning. Why should I imitate others, bow my head, stoop over and be a slave? Why resign myself to menial housework?" After hearing Trin's words, her brother decided to join her. At first the Chinese underestimated Trin for her being a female leader, but after some encounters, they feared her because of her gaze. 3 centuries later, she still offered spiritual support for male Vietnamese opponent of the Chinese. In the L dynasty she was honored by the court with a lot of posthumous titles. During the L dynasty, Neo-Confucianism became Vietnam's national ideology, and many scholars aggressively tried to bring the practices of Triudhi Trin into conformity with Neo-Confucianism. Nevertheless, she survived all their manipulations. Most available information comes solely from Vietnamese sources that were written during or after the late Ming dynasty. However, the Sangguaji, a classical Chinese historical account, does mention a rebellion at this time in the commanderies of Jiaozhai and Juchhen. In the 11th year of Chaiwu 248 in Jiaozhai, Juchhen rebels attacked walled cities which caused a great uproar. Liu Yin of Hengyang was given rank of the inspector of Jiaozhou by the sovereign of Wu. He took his troops and entered the southern border and sent word to the rebels. He used his craftiness to convince them to accept his terms. In Jialiang, the commander Huang Wu with 3,000 households came out to surrender. Liu Yin now led the army south to that region. He announced his sincerity to the aborigines and distributed gifts. The remaining 100 rebel leaders and 50,000 households, who had been unruly and unapproachable, kowtowed to Liu Yin. Thus the territory was handed over peacefully. At once Liu Yin was given the rank of general who tranquilizes the south. Again he was sent on a punitive expedition against the rebels in Kangguyu. He defeated them quickly. From start to finish Liu Yin's military troops totaled 8,000. Keith W. Taylor, an American professor, explained these differences as following. Chinese records do not mention Lady Trieu, our knowledge of her comes only from Vietnamese sources. From this it is evident that the events of 248 were remembered differently by the two sides. The Chinese only recorded their success in buying off certain rebel leaders with bribes and promises. The resistance led by Lady Trieu was for them simply a kind of stubborn barbarism that was wiped out as a matter of course and was of no historical interest. On the other hand, the Vietnamese remembered Lady Trieu's uprising as the most important event of the time. Her leadership appealed to strong popular instincts. The traditional image of her as a remarkable yet human leader, throwing her yard-long breasts over her shoulders when going into battle astride an elephant, has been handed down from generation to generation. After Lady Trieu's death, her spirit was worshipped by the Vietnamese. We owe our knowledge of her to the fact that she was remembered by the people. Trieu Trin is a greatly celebrated hero and many streets are named after her in Vietnamese cities. History of Vietnam. Tr Degree Ng Sisters. Bith Soon. Footnotes. Citations. The Chronicle of the Three Kingdoms. Chapters 69-78 from the Tzu Chi Tiong Chien of Su Ma Kuang / translated and annotated by Achilles Fang, edited by Glenn W. Baxter.